if you change the concentration of a substance, okay, this will affect the equilibrium in reversible reactions. So if you increase the concentration of a substance, the equilibrium, the stressed equilibrium will shift in order to decrease the amount of that substance A. Okay, so if you increase the concentration, the equilibrium will act in order to decrease the amount of A. If you decrease the concentration of A, the equilibrium shifts to increase the amount of a substance. Alright, so let's look at some examples to understand this better. So I have bismuth chloride reacts with water to produce a white precipitate of bismuth oxychloride and hydrochloric acid. So we have bismuth chloride plus water. You see the state symbols, aqueous and liquid. We have reversible reaction, dynamic equilibrium here, and we have bismuth oxychloride, solid plus 2 moles of hydrochloric acid, aqueous. So what happens with concentration? So what will happen if more water is being produced? So what you need to remember is, to make it simple, if you add more water, then your equilibrium is going to be stressed, and as a reaction, it's going to move opposite to the reaction. So it's going to move opposite to the reaction. The reaction is going this way, so it's going to move to where it's being produced. If you look at this slide, so equilibrium shifts to decrease the amount of substance. So as I said, it's going to move opposite to the direction of the reaction. The reaction is going this way, and therefore, because this has increased, the equilibrium is going to move to that side, because it's been stressed, to kind of like shift on the left here. So we've got that. Let me just see if I can click on these. Insert, design, draw. No, design. No, these are not working. Maybe. Okay, no worries. So, and then therefore, because it's going to move to this side, more bismuth oxychloride and hydrochloric acid will be produced. Okay, so you need to remember that once you increase the concentration, the equilibrium is going to move opposite to the reaction, and more opposite to the reaction is going to move, the reaction is going this way, so it's going to move opposite, and more of the products are going to be produced. Okay, if your concentration was decreased in this case, so the equilibrium is in the middle, and if your concentration decreased, went down, so the concentration, let's say less water, we had less water, your equilibrium is going to move with the same side of the direction, is going to move to the same side of the direction, forward, and therefore, once it's moving towards the side with the most concentration, more reactants will form. So we have more bismuth chloride and more water being produced. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Here's another example. We are in dynamic equilibrium in the middle with chlorine and iodine chloride, and we have iodine trichloride. So if we increase the chlorine, remember, if you increase the chlorine, if you increase the concentration, the equilibrium is going to move opposite to the reaction. The reaction is normally going to the right side, but the equilibrium is going to move opposite the reaction and towards the the side of the most concentrated reactants, in this case chlorine, and therefore we have more products being produced. So the equilibrium is going to move to the left, and as a result there's going to be more products being produced, iodine trichloride, and we can see this visibly by our kind of like solution not solution, but our precipitant here, solid, will be turning more yellow. Okay, so our gas, our green gas and brown iodine are going to be reducing in color and effect, and then the iodine trichloride is going to be forming instead, and we can see that with the yellow color. If we remove the chlorine gas, so the equilibrium is in the middle, if we stress our equilibrium by reducing the concentration of our reactants, by having chlorine being removed or reduced, then the equilibrium is going to move forward to the same side with the reaction, and therefore more reactants are going to form in this case. So if you move this one, you'll see that yellow color will start disappearing, and instead you'll see a brown iodine chloride being more prevalent, more present. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So to recap, if you increase concentration, you're going to stress your equilibrium. It's going to move opposite to the reaction. So it's going to move opposite to the reaction. The reaction is moving to the right, okay, to the right. So if you increase the concentration on any of these two, your equilibrium is going to be stressed. It's going to move to that side in order to reduce what's happening there. And therefore, as a result of this movement, your products here are going to show up. That color will show up more, and these products will be produced. If you stress your equilibrium by reducing or removing one of your reactants, then your equilibrium is going to move to the same direction to the energy, and therefore you're going to see more reactants appearing again in the backward direction. All right.